GZM Shows and the creators of 6 Minutes are rolling out their newest audio adventure with the podcast Discovering Dad. A cautious single dad with a secret past and his rebellious kids embark on a thrilling quest complete with hidden treasure, villains, and a family curse. New episodes of Discovering Dad roll out weekly starting June 11th on Apple Podcasts. Follow the show so you never miss an episode, or listen early and ad-free as a GZM Shows subscriber. Go to gzmshows.com to learn more.
The thing that I fought tooth and nail to bring my son into is Dungeons and Dragons. That is the ultimate solution to parenthood.
I'm Alexis Ohanian. In my podcast, Business Dad, I'm hoping to open up the conversation about balancing careers and family. I talked to Rainn Wilson. I wanted to learn more about Rainn's advice to play D&D with your kids. Business Dad is available now, so be sure to listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
And now, a special edition of the Toddcast podcast.
Powered by Citywide Mortgage Services, providing complete financing and mortgage services for residential and small commercial businesses. Visit them at citywidemortgage.ca.
Now, here's your host, Todd Hancock.
Straight up, some days are just better than others. You got to admit it. It doesn't matter what you do to pay the bills. Some days just stand out above the rest. I got into radio broadcasting in the mid-90s, originally in the promotion department of 97 Magic FM in Penticton, just kind of jumping around from beach to beach, giving out stickers and shaking hands, kissing babies. Eventually, my run in radio would have me doing world album premieres with Metallica, Nickelback, Velvet Revolver. So many amazing afternoons co-hosting shows with Chris Cornell, Tom Morello, Corey Taylor of Slipknot, flying all over the world to do my radio show, down to Louisville, Kentucky, San Francisco, California, over to Dublin, Ireland to broadcast from the Jameson Distillery for St. Patrick's Day, a couple years in a row, first-class flights, per diems, just insane shit. And the fact that this podcast is still going strong into our 9th year, that alone is a career highlight as we throw stones to episode 300. We're at 296 now. My name is Todd Hancock. Thank you so much for being there. We're well aware that there are plenty of choices and have put together an incredible week. You'll hear from 12 guests as they share their career highlights. We'll get to this week's musical guests in just a minute. Coming up shortly, in Stop Me If You've Heard This Before, UFC fighter Randa Marcos talking about when she knew that she was going down the fight path. That is powered by our friends at FKP MMA. Mr. Franco and his team are widely recognized as the best, not only in Western Canada, but maybe the entire country. Learn self-defense, build self-esteem, meet new friends, get fit. My youngest, Levi, has been going for just over a year now, coming out all red-faced after each session. I just cannot say enough good things about them. Vancouver's #1 training destination, fkpmma.com. First, let's get to some career highlight stories from a handful of our past musical guests, all of whom are powered by Vibe Cave Studios in East Vancouver. Got a good song? Need a great mix? Look no further. Get a hold of Braden, and he will make it happen. Listen to a snippet of Tisa Rahim, Someone Else Does. It's a new song that won't be released until the end of next month.
Then you better try.
Once again, that's Tisa Rahim, Someone Else Does, an early taste of new music. Again, talk to Braden. He works with all sorts of genres, huge mixes, killer sounds, great vibes through vibecavestudios.com. So we've seen supergroups form over the years, going way back. Cream was formed in '66 by Eric Clapton of the Yardbirds, Jack Bruce from Manfred Mann, and Ginger Baker, arguably one of the best drummers all time. You got Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, Blind Faith, Derek and the Dominoes, Journey, Bad Company, Temple of the Dog, Audioslave, Prophets of Rage, A Perfect Circle, formed by guitarist Billy Howardell, Tool's Maynard James Keenan, Smashing Pumpkins guitarist James Iha. Listen to Billy talk about his career highlights.
I had this clearly laid out the other day, and it's really tough.
Right.
I think just getting APC off the ground, it's kind of a soft target of time, but, just completion of the first record. I think that was just something that, I'd always wanted to do, but, as it was going on, there was so much happening with press and getting ready for opening for Nine Inch Nails, making a music video. It was really hard to kind of sit and take it in at a moment. And maybe it's good that I didn't have the time to do that, because it might start, messing with your head and everything. But, I just say completion of that first record.
We'll move on to Canadian country singer Brett Kissel, one of the best in the business. He's been playing since he's 6 years old. He's opened a tour for Garth Brooks, has multiple gold-selling albums. He's cleaned up at the CCMAs, Male Artist of the Year, Interactive Artist of the Year, Video of the Year. He's a multiple Juno Award winner, the reigning Country Album of the Year Juno Award winner with What Is Life. Here's what Brett said about career highlights.
I think my career highlight was getting to open for Garth Brooks and tour with him. The reason why I put that at the very top is because Garth has been and still is at the top of his game. And as a guy who's looked up to him all my life, I felt night after night it was like the best day ever. And I got to relive that, 9 times in a row in Edmonton, 6 times in Hamilton, 7 times in Calgary, 4 times in Winnipeg, in Regina, in Saskatoon, and the list goes on. It was an incredible experience, and Garth called me up, to do Call in Baton Rouge with him. That's my favorite Garth song.
Wow.
That's his favorite song to play live, and he just comes backstage casually. He says, "Hey, I saw on YouTube you love to do Baton Rouge." I said, "Oh, yeah, I do it like every night." He says, "Well, our show, we do it second to close. Come up for it. I'll introduce you, and you can play my guitar."
Wow.
Like, can you believe that?
Wow.
It's like Wayne Gretzky saying, "Hey, kid, you know what? I'll center your line, and we're going to go out there. We're going to score a hat trick. You can use my stick. And actually, you know what? You can wear number 99 tonight." Like, could you imagine that? That's exactly how it felt to me.
That is incredible.
And I'll never forget those memories.
If you listen to a good Canadian rock radio station, chances are you'll hear Gob with some sort of regularity. They've been around since '93, nominated for the Best New Group at the 2000 Juno Awards, so 7 years later. More Juno nominations. You've heard their music in tons of sports games. They used to play the festival circuit like crazy when they were playing the Vans Warped Tour. Remember that. They were crushing it. Listen to their guitarist, Theo, share some thoughts on career highlights.
I might have told you, maybe, one, it just popped ahead. I don't know if it is the one, but I remember in Japan, we were at the famous, where Cheap Trick, Kiss, the Beatles, the Budokan. Tom got on my shoulders, did a guitar solo. We played at the Budokan. I thought
that's pretty cool.
Because I don't think
knowing the bands that have been.
I don't think it exists.
Prior.
Does it exist anymore?
I don't know if it does or not.
But anyway, that is.
Let's get my producer in post to find out if that.
But that was like kind of like, wow, we're here at the Budokan. Like,
yeah,
this is it. It doesn't matter. I mean, we obviously weren't making money like Kiss, Cheap Trick, or the Beatles or whoever, like all the bands that play, like Nirvana. But
how big is that venue?
I remember it was so because it was so the energy of just that day of like, we're playing Budokan. It was so exciting. Like, everything was just like, it just went by so fast. Like, just remember. But I remember the venue I think it was, I'm going to say 12 to 15,000 people.
Remember when Much Music used to play music videos and how they'd have bands come by and play the yearly Much Music Video Awards? Thousands of people would jam the streets of downtown Toronto. It was cool to see. Back in the day, it really felt like something was happening. And back in those early years, in the early 2000s, Swollen members were absolutely killing it. Madchild and Prevail, they cleaned up at the Much Awards in 2002. They won 4 awards awards that year, and back then they were untouchable, releasing their music through Madchild's indie label, Battle Axe Records. Madchild was a guest prior to releasing his solo album, The Darkest Hour, in 2017, and he talked about his career highlights.
Well, I think there's been so many special moments. I think winning, what did we win? 4 or 5 Much Music Awards in one night, 1 year. That was pretty incredible. I think it was 4 in one night. All the time, the 4 Junos we won were all very special evenings. Remember hearing Lady Venom for the first time on the radio. Shout out to Chris Dunner for breaking that record for us.
He was my program director for like 8 or 9 years at CFOX.
He's a great guy, man. He's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I'd say playing in front of 55,000 people in Toronto when we opened for Coldplay and Beyonce and you name it. There were so many cool acts there. They actually had it in both stadiums with jumbotrons, so you could watch. It would go show back to back to back, but both stadiums were full, and of course you just play in one stadium, but they could watch it in the other stadium on the jumbotron as it was happening. That was a pretty special night. Playing at Much Music at the peak of Slow Member's career when we had all of Yonge Street just full of thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and it was televised across the country. That was a very special night. I could go on and on. I remember doing a Molson Canadian festival in Vancouver, and there's probably 25,000 people there, and I was crowd surfing, and I guess someone got a professional photographer got a photo of that, and then a month later, every bus in BC had me crowd surfing on the side of the bus like it was an ad that management hooked up. Awesome. So I was seeing myself for like a couple months on the side of every bus as I'm driving around. That was pretty cool too. Lots of things. I remember playing Glastonbury. That was a really special time. A lot of festivals in Europe. It's been a great ride, man. That was a fun time.
Toddcast Podcast musical guest visits are powered by Vibe Cave Studios in East Vancouver. Huge mixes. Killer sounds. Great vibes. Visit them at vibecavestudios.com.
La da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. Hey, hey. I don't know why you even bother, 'cause your head's underwater. It's underwater now. High tide, the water's getting hotter. Guess we should have bothered, now it looks like we won't survive. I'll die with all your sons and daughters, victims of the slaughter. No one here's getting out alive. I won't lie, things aren't getting better. Thinking about whether or not we crossed the line. I don't know who's gonna save us. I don't know who's gonna save us. But I don't know how we will change this. We both know things have been getting worse. Hey! La da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. Hey! Hey! We found out just what they're trying to say, but we were far too late, and now we're gonna pay. I'm wise now to all your blind and foolish ways. Give your head a shake, quit acting like you're gonna change it. Can hide now from the eye of the hurricane, but you can't outrun the rain. You can't outrun the rain. I'm wise now to all your blind and foolish ways. Give your head a shake. I don't know who's gonna save us. I don't know who's gonna save us. First, I don't know how we will change this.
Toddcast podcast is powered by Milano Coffee, bringing you the finest espresso and coffee concepts in the world. Online at milanocoffee.ca. And now, stop me if you've heard this before on the Toddcast podcast.
UFC fight fans will know the name Randa Marcos. Although she's no longer with the organization, she is tough as nails. Born in Iraq, moved to Canada when she was just 3 years old. You saw her compete in the Ultimate Fighter 20 finale, where she lost a close split decision. And when Randa was a guest, we talked about the fight game, watching tape of opponents, the best fighters of all time, pound for pound, when parents should enroll kids in martial arts, her time on the Ultimate Fighter TV show. You'll hear her thoughts on aliens visiting Earth in the full interview. We talked about legalized marijuana, what it was like growing up in Windsor, Ontario. She talked about her love of horror and paranormal witness. And stop me if you've heard this before, Randa talked about traveling down the fight path. And what is it that got her into MMA post-secondary?
I honestly had no idea what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be. I just did, I don't know, I went to school and I became a pharmacy technician because, my mom always wanted me to finish something, so I did that because, to make her happy, but I just loved, being outdoors and playing sports, just something that I love to do, and, I just never gave that up, and it just led me here. I didn't, think to be a UFC fighter or anything like that. I just, when I like something, I just keep doing it, and then it just led me here. I don't know. Never really had a clear vision of what I wanted to do. I still don't.
Nice. And what was it that got you into martial arts?
I got into wrestling when I first started high school, and I just loved it. I don't know. I always loved sports. I love to run. I love to play all different kinds of sports, but wrestling was really different. It was a individual thing. So when I did well, I reflected on myself. When I did bad, did I train enough? It was always I grew a lot. Personally, I grew a lot, and I really loved that about it. And then from there, I went into jiu-jitsu, and I went into boxing, and I went into MMA. It was just something that I fell in love with as in high school as a wrestler.
Stop Me If You've Heard This Before on the Toddcast podcast is powered by FKP MMA, Vancouver's #1 training destination at fkpmma.com.
Oh, I'm running, yeah, I'm running, got me running home. It's like you told me so, it's like I've always known. It's what you show, yeah, but I wasn't no saint either, didn't do enough to please you, guess that's why I ain't there, yeah. Oh, I'm running, yeah, I'm running, got me running far. 'Cause I didn't want the scars, there wasn't no caviar. No, not the way it was, yeah. But I wasn't no saint either, didn't do enough to please you, guess that's why I ain't there, yeah. Got me running, whoa, I'm running, yes, I'm running, no. Do I miss it? No. I kept on running, oh, till we found the goal. Yeah, we found the goal. Yeah. Got me running, oh, I'm running, yeah, I'm running round. Tell me, do you hear my sound? Know that I seen your gown. Find my crown. ground. Yeah, but I wasn't no saint either. I didn't do enough to please her. Guess that's why I ain't there. Yeah.
I would say easily one of my favorite artists of the last couple of years. His name is Ivan Hartle. Been a fan of his since seeing a show at the Biltmore pre-pandemic, and I'm pretty sure I've told you about this show a few times over the years. Just a good little group of buddies. We were out ripping it up one night and randomly went to the Biltmore in Vancouver, near Main and Broadway there. And Ivan was playing. He blew us all away. I cannot wait. And I hope you're able to grab a ticket for this one. We're doing a show with Ivan at the end of next month on Saturday, March 31st at Blue Light Studio, another podcast, Blue Light Sessions. It's acoustic, Q&A, and I think that Ivan's friend Matt Storm will also be playing as well. So keep that in mind. These nights are filmed. It's $20 in advance, $25 at the door if you wait, and hopefully there's still tickets available. Doors are at 7. The show will start at 8 o'clock. Hopefully we'll see you there. Played you a band called Chase the Bear, and that's a new song for them called Underwater. Those boys just did a 5 or 6 date tour about a month back. Started off here in Vancouver at the Wise Hall, ripped over to the island, did a bunch of shows over there, Victoria, Duncan, Nanaimo. Just announced a whole bunch of more shows for the summer as well on their Facebook page. These guys are absolutely killing. Coming up in just a few minutes in Listen to This, adult film star Sarah Vandella talks about being impersonated on social media. Creepy stuff when you think about it. Somebody pretending to be you, masquerading as you. That is powered by our longtime sponsors, Tedco RV Supplies in Langley. RV service and repairs, ICBC accredited. Find them on Facebook and on Twitter at Tedco RV Supplies. First, back to more career highlight stories and some sporting guests from over the years. Powered by Hand Over Hand Textiles in Vancouver. Naturally dyed goods for your home, for your body. Locally owned, locally operated, locally sourced as well. They only use pure plant extracts. Natural fibers. It's good for Mother Earth. So many amazing finds on their website, handoverhandtextiles.com. So you'll know Ashley Lawrence as a soccer player for the Canadian national team, and she's also currently playing for the Paris Saint-Germain Div 1.
My career highlight, it's really hard to pick one. It's really, really hard. Well, I think I have to go with two because I can't pick one. Like, it's hard for me. One would have to be, making it to the Champions League final. Last year it was my first season with PSG, and we were able to play teams, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, top teams in Europe, and we played Lyon in the final, and we fell short to penalty kicks. But I took a penalty kick, I scored, and the atmosphere was incredible. My family was in the stands, and something I'll never forget. And that's my hope, to be back there one day and to win it and to hoist that trophy.
Cool.
And really quick, the other one would have to be the bronze medal match last year. We played Brazil. In Brazil, there was almost 40,000 people in the stands. It was hot. It was scorching hot. And I had a ball played from Shalina Dzorsky, and I ran from half all the way to the goal, and I set up Deanne Rose to score the opening goal. And she made history with being the youngest player to score in the Olympics.
Awesome.
And, that goal helped us win the bronze medal. So it was an incredible moment, and both those moments I'll never forget.
We'll go from soccer to hockey. If you're a fan, or I guess more specifically of the Canucks, the Islanders, Kings, Thrashers, Canadiens, Blackhawks, you'll know retired defenseman Brent Sopel, drafted by the Canucks in 95, played there till the mid-2000s, then traded over to the Islanders in 2005, then traded back to the Canucks for a season, then it was over to Chicago where he won the Stanley Cup with the Blackhawks in 2010. Here's what Brent said about career highlights. It's kind of obvious, right?
Obviously, one in a million times on the outdoor rink, and it's a dream come true. So to be able to know that my name's on there and part of a special group when there's so many amazing players that played this game in the NHL that never got an opportunity to win.
Pro boxer Marlon Esparza was the first American woman to qualify for the Olympics in the first year that women's boxing was an Olympic event in 2012. She won a bronze medal. You've seen her in an ad for PETA, Spanish Coca-Cola. She's endorsed by CoverGirl, was the subject of the CNN documentary In Her Corner, Latino in America 2, signed a multi-year deal with Golden Boy. So what's Marlon's career highlight?
I would definitely say right now it would be up in the air between getting signed by Golden Boy or going to the games. Because I think people are like, going to the Olympics would probably be my number one.
Mm-hmm.
But I've gotten so many, people don't realize how many opportunities I've gotten equally, both like financially and just media-wise from both.
Yeah.
That I can't really say, because until it's all over and said and done, I can't really say which one's better.
Right.
But as of right now, I guess people would take it as the Olympics. But I mean, I would say it's a draw as of right now between getting signed or going to the games.
Remember when Ross Rebliati won Olympic gold in snowboarding, 1998, Nagano Olympics? He tests positive for THC in his system. They take away his medal, only eventually to give it back because marijuana wasn't on the list of banned substances. Isn't that crazy that something like that would ever happen?
It was the next morning.
Wow.
So I did my drug test, and right immediately after the race in the finish line, actually. And the next morning, they cleared my room out of people that were hanging around looking at my medal and told me to sit down, and that I tested positive for something and that they didn't know what it was. And right away I said, well, it could only be cannabis because it's the only thing that I'm exposed to that could get me in any trouble at all. And sure enough, it was. So, luckily we were able to discover that cannabis wasn't on the list of banned substances in the first place, and I got to keep it. So that was the first step in creating the company, was being able to keep the medal.
Red Truck Beer, delivered fresh, the official beer of the Toddcast podcast.
People always talking about the love life, talking about the love life in my ear. They're always talking about the love life, talking about the love life, so sincere. But if everybody's playing the game, not everybody's luck is exactly the same. Some people settle for less, and that's why we're all in this mess. About the love life, talking about the love life in my ear. They're always talking about the love life, talking about the love life, so sincere. And when they finally settle down, only time will tell if they'll stick around. The grass is greener on the other side, who doesn't have a secret to confide.
best way to hit the slopes this winter is with the Cypress Mountain Sky Card. Visit cypressmountain.com for details.
And now, listen to this on the Toddcast podcast.
Adult film star Sarah Vandella grew up with hippie parents in Long Island, New York. She started dancing at clubs at the age of 22. You've seen her in XXX movies since 2007 and working with the big dogs, Vivid, Hustler, Naughty America, Reality Kings. She's been nominated multiple times for AVN Awards, the Adult Video Network. And when Sarah was a guest, we talked about being shadow banned online, binge watching Homeland and Dateline. She shared a near-death story. We talked about our love of superhero movies. Aliens visiting Earth came up, and so did the hustle of webcamming and OnlyFans. Growing up to the music of Joni Mitchell and the Beatles. And Sarah talked about having imposters on social media. Creepy stuff. Listen to this.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of gotten over that part because there's no way around it. I've been on, in the business for so long, and I'm just going to be targeted. The thing that really gets under my skin now are the fact that these people that are getting scammed are actually falling in love with me and following up and trying to find me. I cannot tell you how many guys I'm being contacted bi-weekly on Sex Panther, OnlyFans, or even Twitter asking if I am the girl that they've been talking to.
Wow.
Please tell me it's you. I'm in love with you. There was a man recently who found my phone number. He paid a background check to find my legal phone number, and I am in the process of talking to a lawyer about getting a restraining order. I mean, this is just,
Scary. It's scary shit too. It's not fucking around.
So I'm over the part of being annoyed with these imposters because I try to report as many as I can, but Instagram won't even talk to us about it. Well, that's not true. A conversation was started between one of our allies, our representative unions here in the industry.
Yeah.
However, with everything going on in the media and the news, I feel like we've been put to the wayside, and so hopefully it'll be revisited. But there are no actual laws protecting performers, and also due to the stuff we just discussed about Instagram hating us, it's very hard to get verified. So between the lack of understanding from Instagram, the inability to be verified, and the fact that we're constantly getting deleted, it's hard to always, let people know, hey, if people are asking for money, it's not me.
Listen to this on the Toddcast podcast is brought to you by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley, an ICBC-approved repair shop. Visit them on Facebook and Twitter at Tedco RV Supplies.
Make sure you slam the front door, yeah. Pour all my liquor on the kitchen floor. Throw my clothes all over the front lawn. Do what you gotta do to do me wrong. If you still got a heart, get to tearing mine apart. 'Cause I'll never get over it if you don't leave a mark. Your little mercy. If you're gonna hurt me, come on, just leave me a wreck. Don't leave me anything less. The worst of you might save me. Show a little mercy. Show a little mercy. You might save my life if you ruin it. Out of all the hurt, I think hope is the cruelest. Right now, goodbye just don't quite feel right. Come on, baby, change my mind. Show a little mercy. If you're gonna hurt me, come on, just leave me a wreck. Don't leave me anything less. The worst of you might save me. Show a little mercy. Show a little mercy. All right. I'll never get over it if you don't leave a mark. Give me all you got, don't need any second thoughts. I'll never get over it if you don't give a spark. Show a little mercy if you're gonna hurt me. Come on, just leave me a wreck. Don't leave me anything less. The worst of you might save me. Show a little mercy. Show a little mercy. Come on and show a little mercy. Show a little mercy. Oh, I said mercy. I can't say it again.
Who is gonna make it? We'll find out in the long run. Sounds a lot like it to me. But big props to Kyle McCurney, arguably one of the best indie songs from 2022. It's called Mercy. Kyle had a banner year last year, nominated for awards, winning awards, and deserves everything that's coming his way. One of the most talented musicians that I can think of, from not only playing, but to singing. In fact, you've heard his music at the start of every podcast, or at the end as well, since we fired up this podcast in 15. Back when Kyle was in a hard rock band called Hard Honey, we were starting up and asked Kyle if we could use some of his music. We're longtime friends. He said, yeah, man, love to help out. And we'll keep playing that big, hearty, meaty riff you hear at the intro until we stop creating these podcasts. Love Kyle. Played you Dan Moxon, the singer of Bend Sinister, and that was his song called Love Life. We had Dan play one of those blue light sessions with us just a while back now, I guess. If you were there, because good turnout, maybe you did make it. Just an incredible night of music, stories, and singing along. It was very, very cool. Well, Dan has his album release party this Friday, March 3rd, at Green Auto in East Vancouver, which is another very cool venue. Zoe Levin and Cassidy Waring are playing as well. Doors are at 7, or is that Waring? Regardless, it's going to be a great show. Doors are at 7, shows at 8. It's 15 bones. That will be a great night. Trying to shuffle a couple things to make it as well, so maybe we'll see you there. Speaking of live music, find a small list of shows that are happening locally, including, of course, all of our Blue Light Studio shows and others that we think you should be at with the indie scene at toddhancock.ca. If you're playing a show, if you're going to a show, if it's indie, let us know about it. We'll post it up at the website. That's brought to you by our friends at Mystic Rhythms Rehearsal Studios. Over 40 years experience in the music industry. Find out more through mysticrhythms.ca. Okay, our final guests of this episode 296. We're talking career highlights and some stories from a few of our past entertainment and lifestyle guests, all of whom are powered by Sacred Meds, Canada's best craft cannabis and psilocybin dispensary. You can also get oils, hash, all kinds of edibles, peyote, DMT, and more. At registry, by the way, mention you heard about them through the podcast. That will unlock a hidden category on their website. And, of course, use the code TODCAST to get a percentage off, 10% off through sacredmeds.com. So I originally knew actor Chris Calhoun as my competition across the street. We did battle back in the late 90s into the 2000s when Chris was the afternoon host in Vancouver at a station called Z95.3, and I was doing the same time slot at 99.3 The Fox, CFox, Vancouver's rock station. Not that we were actually going after the same person. Fox was more men, Zed was more women. But you better believe that when he went in every day, he was trying to bury me in the ratings, and I was doing the exact same thing. Now you'll know Chris as an actor and a voice actor in LA. You've seen him, you've heard him in video games, TV movies, TV series like Smallville, The Dead Zone, Masters of Horror, Stargate Atlantis, The Client List, Batman Beyond, and you might be surprised to hear what he said about career highlights.
Radio was my days in Vancouver. I loved it, and I did work hard. And like if you want to do anything, like that's why I look like I was. And radio guys, they look like they're schmoozers, but you go to every event, you kiss every baby, shake every hand, cut every ribbon at every holistic spa, grand opening place.
You're on all the time.
yeah, Vancouver was like the cat's ass for me. I had so much fun, but behind the scenes, you're doing a lot of work if you want to be successful. You just don't show up and it happens.
Growing up as a teen in the 90s, you never thought that weed would be legalized in your lifetime. Sure, there was talk of it, like, holy crap, imagine if. Well, long story short, author, politician, and activist Dana Larson is one of the reasons it happened here in Canada. He was the editor of Cannabis Culture from its creation in 94 through 05, founding member of both the Marijuana Party of Canada and the BC Marijuana Party. He ran in the 2000 Canadian federal election. He ran in the 2001 BC provincial election. It was in 2005 that Dana founded End Prohibition, NDP Against the Drug War, instrumental in passing drug policy resolutions. He co-founded the Vancouver Seed Bank, launched the Sensible BC campaign that helped decriminalize cannabis possession in BC. Listen to what Dana said about career highlights.
Well, I think there's been a couple. I mean, some of the stuff I've done, I think I worked really hard on and didn't really accomplish much at all ultimately. And other things I think were influential. We did a campaign in 2013, the Sensible BC campaign, where we tried to get people to sign up to have a referendum in the province to decriminalize possession.
I do remember that.
And we didn't get enough signatures. It's almost impossible to accomplish that. But I think that campaign was very influential. Like, I think it made a lot of people become activists who had just otherwise kind of sat around at home and wanted to do stuff but didn't know what to do. And by giving them and it was really a leap of faith on my part. I had no idea what was going to happen with that, if anyone was going to sign up, if it was going to work. And like right as we were launching it, a friend of ours in the north, in Terrace, right? A friend of ours in Terrace won the lottery, won like $25 million and gave me like $200,000 to fund the campaign. And like, it was just this miracle that this guy who we knew was an activist happened to win the lottery right when we were doing the campaign. And all these things fell into place. And it was during that campaign that Trudeau first announced that he supported legalization of marijuana. And it was in response to one of our canvassers who's actually here with me hanging out. And so I thought that helped. I don't know if we would have gotten sort of legalization without that campaign. And I also think getting everybody to open dispensaries. I think it wasn't just me doing that. Other ones had opened before me, but I put a lot of effort and I showed a lot of people. And the first 5 places that opened in Vancouver after we did, they all met with me and consulted with me and got a bunch of free advice. And I caught people calling me from all across the country, like around 2009. Until really just a couple of years ago, I would be getting, at least one call a week from somebody wanting to open a dispensary, and I would spend a lot of time with them. And although we've lost a lot of those places, I think that was also crucial, that we needed hundreds of shops openly disobeying the law and creating this whole controversy of dispensaries everywhere selling cannabis. I think that was necessary to get the government to change the law. Like, we had to do it first, and then they're going to allow us to do this in some way after we've already been doing it for a long time, right? So I think those kind of things are things that I think had a big impact. I've been in the NDP a long time. I don't think I accomplished anything. I've traveled across the NDP conventions all across the country, like in every province. There was a period where me and my friends would go to every NDP convention and we talked to the locals, and we passed resolutions on marijuana and drug policy in like every province in the Yukon. And all those resolutions and things that we were passed by the grassroots of the party, they all got ignored as terms of policy or affecting what the government did or what they talked about. And not a single one of them really was like, oh, our people want us to talk about marijuana legalization. Well, we're going to make that a priority. It's frustrating. I thought working within the democratic process is just not as successful as just being civilly disobedient and just doing it and making them deal with the reality. I think that's probably where I'm going to be focusing on more in the future, is just making stuff happen and less trying to get, the politicians will follow after you've already made the reality change.
As you know, podcasts come and podcasts go, and most don't really get to where we are today, throwing stones to 300 episodes. And one that we were a fan of, the Jen and Tonic Show, unfortunately is no more. But we definitely wanted to highlight Jen. You can still find episodes online.
Career highlight. Probably getting followers on Twitter and then having people come up to me and recognize me. When I was working at Cowboys during Stampede, this couple came up to me and they were like, "You are so amazing. Can you sign our beer cans?" And I was like, "Shut up. You want me to sign your beer cans? I mean, I will do it, but is this the peak of what my fame is going to feel like?"
Oh my God! Are you gonna bronze that beer can? That's amazing.
Yeah, I know. They better have it sitting like on their mantle in their house.
And you'll likely best know actor Marquise Moore from playing Andrew on The Walking Dead. He made headlines in MTV's From G's to Gents Season 1 as well. He punched a cast member in the face during one of those reunion episodes.
My career highlight thus far, working with Nicolas Cage.
Oh, yeah? What's he like?
Yeah, that's probably amazing. One of the coolest people I've ever met.
I bet.
Just so cool, man. Like, he has an aura. Like, he's like the white Snoop Dogg. You know what I mean? It's just smooth everywhere it goes. And he gave me a bottle of Francis Coppola wine. I guess they're related. That's his uncle, I believe.
Okay.
And just that experience was just amazing. We did a movie called Seeking Justice. It's on Netflix, so people can go check it out on Netflix. But working with Nicolas Cage probably be one of my biggest highlights.
Entertainment guest visits are powered by Sacred Meds, Canada's best craft cannabis and psilocybin dispensary. Visit sacredmeds.com and mention you heard about them through the podcast to open up a hidden category on their website. And use the code TODCAST at checkout for 10% off your order.
That band is Spendo and Fighter, a great song for those guys, another contender for Indie Rock Song of the Year last year. One of the tracks on their new EP that you'll likely see live at the Wise Hall in East Vancouver for their Great Unknown EP release party. It's not this Saturday, but next, on Saturday, March 11th, it's Spendo with the Noodle Boys and Dusk Note. Doors are at 7:30, shows at 8:30. It's just $20. Love the boys in Spendo. Good players, good dudes, always down to hang with those guys. Their Blue Light sessions with us was unforgettable, and not just because their drummer went into anaphylactic shock 15 minutes before showtime. Not even kidding. Maybe we'll see you there. Spendo's EP release, again, March 11 at the Wise Hall, East Vancouver. And with that, episode 296, Career Highlights, is being sent to bed. Holy crap, we're chasing down episode 300. Can you believe that? Once again, my name is Todd Hancock. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard, please tell your friends. You can subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube. Of course, comment and rate the podcast. It helps out big time. Search out the podcast through Toddcast Podcast, and I've loved you to follow along on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. Huge thanks to all of our excellent sponsors. They're the reason why you hear this podcast week in, week out. We couldn't do it without their incredible support. There's a lot of moving parts that happen behind the scenes, and they make all of it possible. You can find links to all sponsor websites at toddhancock.ca. If you'd like to sponsor the podcast, you know you can for as little as $10 a day. Contact info is at the homepage. Maybe we'll talk soon, have a beer, have a coffee, see what's up. And by the way, if you help us find a sponsor, we will give you a commission. Straight up, make money because you listen to this podcast. Till next time, don't be an asshole. Nobody wants to be around that. Have fun, play hard, and most of all, believe in yourself.
You've been listening to the Toddcast Podcast, powered by Citywide Mortgage Services, dedicated to helping you find the best mortgage rates. Available 7 days a week at citywidemortgage.ca.
Talmor, Sheshin Marachi. Talmor is my home. My family have worked the land for generations. My gran says the island does not belong to us, but we belong to the island. And we must be ready, for a great evil is coming, and death follows with it.
Listen and subscribe to the latest season of Undertow, The Harrowing, a Storyglass production presented by Realm, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.